Why do some photographers make a ton of money and others struggle to even have enough gas to make it to their shoots? It's not all luck, and it's definitely not all skill. Trust me. But in this video, I want to go over some of the things that will absolutely help you land the highest paying gigs in photography. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Sergio and I'm a commercial photographer here in Victoria, BC. I've been shooting about 12 or so years now, and one thing that I've noticed throughout my career is that there's only two real types of clients. There's the ones who will ask you to expose an image and they'll pay you very poorly for it. And then there's the ones who will ask you to create a story and they're more likely to pay you very handsomely for it. We'll get into the skill requirements of each, but there's not a whole lot of difference between low-paying jobs and high-paying jobs, at least on the technical side of things. But when it comes to photography and when it comes to being a business as a photographer, you're so much more than someone who just exposes an image. To be able to be technically proficient as a photographer is to be replaceable by any other photographer. Being able to creatively tell a story from your own point of view is going to give you that unique perspective that others don't have. If you're worried about that technical proficiency of your photography, you're competing against other photographers that are just worried about that technical proficiency. Clients that are looking for someone to take a pretty picture of something that they've made or a store that they need just pretty pictures of whatever it is that they offer, if they're just looking for someone with a nicer iPhone than them, you're not bringing a whole lot to the table other than some equipment. Yes, I know you've put the work in and you've understood lighting and you understand composition and you understand a little bit of what's going on in an image and how to make it look pretty, but you're not going to make a ton of money doing something that is slightly elevated just because of your equipment. Sure, if you go to a restaurant, you'll pay a little bit more than if you're doing it at home, and that's basically what you're becoming. You're becoming someone who just offers something that you can that other people can do themselves, but just a little bit better or a little bit more fine-tuned. But in order to really sell yourself and to be able to charge what, let's say, a fine dining level restaurant is charging, you have to sell an experience and you have to sell a mood and an emotion with your images and not just the technical proficiency of how to cook an egg or whatever. As photographers, it's much more important to create feelings and to create this emotion, this mood, this ambiance, rather than just focusing on how technically perfect an image is. If you're shooting portraits, for example, you want to rely on the emotion between you and the subject and being able to pull that out of them, and that's what's going to be able to make your career slightly more unique to you and not just a carbon copy of everyone else in your neighborhood. Anyone can shoot. I love showing lighting setups and just sharing the behind the scenes and everything else that I do on the technical side, because it doesn't matter if you copy it. It doesn't matter if everyone in the world is shooting the exact same thing or the exact same way, because what everyone else in the world doesn't have is in here. And that's for me, that's for you, that's for all of us. So what you want to tap into is what makes you you, what makes you tick, what you like, what you don't like, and incorporate that in your storytelling, incorporate that into your visual brand. Sorry, we're going to be doing another one of these walkarounds because, contrary to what some of you might believe, I really am a working photographer and my place is a mess right now, so we're going to do a bit of a tidying up while I'm telling you this video. Look, I know you care about what's in the shot. I know you care about the technical side of things, and I know you care about all the gear that we get to play with. That's what got me into this job too. Like, this is fun to be able to play around with all this stuff, even just to have all of these things around you. One sec here. You know, I talk about hating the gear acquisition syndrome, but it's fun to have all this stuff. We're attracted to this career because of the nerdy technical side of this. At least I was. I liked the idea of being able to create something that didn't exist, freeze a moment in time, and with all of that comes all of this. And it's fun. I get that that's what we like to hyper-focus on, and that's what we like to really dig or dive into. But clients and people who are paying you the money expect you to just know that and have it in the back of your mind, not hyper-focus on all of the little things they're out to shoot and then not let them have their own way because, oh no, it needs to be like this or else it's not technically accurate and I can't use it in my portfolio and then I can't. That's not what we're doing as photographers. As professional photographers, we're playing with clients, we're dealing with clients, we're satisfying clients, we're helping them achieves their goals, that's how you achieve your goals. The type of client who needs someone who just takes a nicely exposed image is the type of client who has $48 to spend and is much rather spend it to their cousin with a nice camera, because that's the only person you're replacing. If that's the market you're going after, those are the types of clients you're going to get. The competition at that level, let's say, or in that world is so immensely high, because you're dealing with all of us who have a dream and a credit card, and you're dealing with the people who just, spent a little bit more money on a nicer camera with a nicer lens and a nicer this, and they're not going to take better photos than you. But the client who wants a really pretty $200 photo shoot, who's just comparing it to what they can do with their phone, yes, that's the client, that's the photographer they're going to get. But to get to that other level, to get out of the rat race sort of feel of everyone who's just a replaceable photographer, is tapping into the creative side. It's tapping into what that unique special sauce that you can offer, that you can bring to your photo shoots that other people can't. All of us can bring fancy equipment. That's like a given. At the high level, at the elite level, at the high-paying jobs in photography level, they expect you to have all these things and to just be good at all these things and to just be able to create all of this low-level stuff, let's say. It's a absolute given. But what they can't get anywhere else is creative direction and creative style and creative input that you can bring. All of the highest paying jobs in photography don't reward proficiency. The highest paying jobs in photography reward creativity. And by tapping into that and by understanding how you can apply your own creative style to a certain photo shoot or to a certain assignment is what's going to help you really be a really successful and rich photographer, someone who is consistently booked at a much higher level and not someone who's just replaceable by anyone else with a camera. You're solidifying your position as a photographer by having that creative input. All right, so how do you do it, right? Like, I know a lot of you are screaming right now, like, but stop telling me to be creative and just tell me how to be creative. And I get it. I was starting out and I did not even understand what creativity meant. I do not come from a art background. I don't have a artistic childhood. For me, creativity was something I learned, and it's something that I am still learning, and it's a muscle that we develop that we get to pull out on demand, but you only get better at it, you only get the ability to do so the more you practice it, the more you try it out. One of the easiest ways to tap into creativity or to create works that are creative is to just think about the emotions, the moods, and the feelings that you want to elicit. I want you to go out this week and photograph a feeling of amazement, good or bad. Just whatever makes you feel amazing, go photograph it, go find a way to capture that amazement and see what you come up with. The more you do that, the more you can look at, for me, it's product photography or food photography. The more I can look at a certain product and understand it and find what it is that I find creative and fun and unique about it, and then find my unique way to expose it and to make it look and shine a certain way, that's what clients are coming to me for. And that's how you can charge a lot more money for technically the same image as a picture with a lesser story. But when you start thinking about those little nuances, when you start thinking about the creative aspect of your job, that's when you get to really solidify yourself, your position as a photographer. You don't need to overthink it, just think of your world, your life right now, maybe your childhood, where you are in the world right now, the things that are happening around you, and what are the emotions that come up when you think about that? And how can you harness that and photograph that? And how can you put that in your portfolio somehow? And like I said, don't overthink it. If you're being a technically solid photographer, at the very least, you have technically solid images in your portfolio and you can promote yourself that way. But the more you work on this, the more you think of moods and feelings and emotions, the more your photography will really explode and the more your career will really explode, because that's how the elite level of photography really works. We all know how to take a nice picture. If we don't, there's someone on the team that knows how to take a nice picture or knows how to problem solve this, whatever problem we have. The technical side is like I said, replaceable. It's not something you need to focus on. It's not what's rewarded in photography. It's rewarded by other photographers, but not from the client side. The client side wants your creativity. They want what's unique to you, and that's why they're coming to you and paying you whatever it is that you ask them to. I hope you thought about creativity a little bit differently in this video. Leave a like if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in a couple days. Later.